Okay, we want to simplify these radical expressions. So the numerator has 2 layers of square root signs. So we want to deal with the numerator first, maybe. So square root of 2 minus square root of 3. Somehow, if we can form a square inside, we would get rid of the outside layer of the square root sign, right? So let's try to do that. So the numerator is the square root of 2 minus square root 3. So what do? We do this. We multiply by 1. And this 1 is 2 over 2. Because why? Because if we want to make a square, we need a 2 in front of a square root of 3, right? So we multiply 2 over 2. Then the numerator becomes 2 times 2, 4, minus 2 radical 3 over 2. Now you see the numerator is a square, right? We can split 4 as 3 and 1. Then the middle term is negative 2 radical 3. So 3 is the square root of 3 squared, right? 1 is 1 squared. You see we have 2, negative 2 radical 3. So that tells us that's the square root of 3 minus 1 squared. So we can write it as square root of 3 minus 1 squared. Now square cancels the square root. So we have square root of 3 minus 1. Well, of course, the denominator will have a square root of 2. So, but before we already have a denominator, 3 minus the square root of 3, right? So now the original expression becomes this. When we have 2 layers of denominator, we can multiply those 2 layers of denominator in the denominator. So just have square root 2 times 3 minus square root 3. So somehow we see the numerator will have square root 3 minus 1. The denominator will have 3 minus radical 3. So if we factor out square root of 3 in the denominator, something will happen. So we factor out square root of 3 in the denominator. So 3 minus square root of 3 becomes square root of 3 outside, common factor. Then square root of 3 minus 1, right? Because square root of 3 times square root of 3, that's 3. And minus 1 times square root of 3, that's minus square root of 3. Now we have a common factor in the numerator and in the denominator, which is the square root of 3 minus 1. So those two becomes 1. Something divides out becomes 1. So I have 1 over square root 2 times square root of 3, which is square root of 6. Right, square root of 6. Now rationalize, we multiply the numerator with the square root of 6, multiply denominator with the square root of 6. So we get square root of 6 over 6. Okay, so that's the answer. That's the simplified version of the original expression.